What is going on, everybody? YouTube, I'm John Middlekauff. GoLow. Make sure you subscribe. It is my favorite non-football week of the year. Augusta National, the Masters. Hello, friends. Rory McIlroy. I'm recording this Tuesday afternoon. They're 3 hours ahead of me. They're probably in cocktail hour right now. So it just, I love the pictures that come out of that. I love this entire week. And we'll dive into the importance of this tournament. This tournament's wide open. First time in a long time without two major players. Some of the guys that I like in this tournament. The guy that I think I'm going to bet on to win this tournament and pick to win this tournament. But it doesn't get much better than this, and I'm super excited. I do think, and I've been thinking a lot about this, is, we talk a lot of football, right? And the one thing, there's multiple reasons for this explosion, right? It's a tailor-made sport for television. Anyone that's been to an NFL game, the event is much better on television than in person. And the scarcity of the event, given that it doesn't happen, like you don't have 3 games in a week, so you can't go, this game doesn't matter, because they all matter, right? Whether you're playing high school football, college football, or the NFL, every game matters. You practice all week, you game plan. And I think the power of the Masters, right? It's the only major that's played at the same event. But there's this buildup every single year. And lately we've had, the Scottie Schefflers, the John Rahms, and obviously Rory getting over the hump last year. So some huge names. It's historically tied with, guys like Tiger, Phil, Jack, Arnie. The biggest players, Gary Player, the most important players in the history of the sport have won this event. And there's this element of you get the green jacket when you get into the club, right? Whether you're a champion or whether you're a member of the club. It's why there's always reports from the ground floor of I just saw Roger Goodell or Peyton Manning walk by in a green jacket. And there's just something that almost feels, unattainable to this event. Right? Most of us, right? If you're listening to this and you're a big sports fan, more than likely you have been to a college or an NFL game. You have been to a Major League Baseball game. You have been to an NBA game, right? Most of us have been to an event or two. Some of us more if you're season ticket holders, right? But this is an event, even if you're an active attendee, that you're I've always wanted to go to the Masters, but I also acknowledge I may never go. It just may never happen. So there's this, it feels huge. It really matters, NFL style. And then there's kind of this mythology to, I just don't know if I'll ever get to attend. I hope I can attend one day, but there's no guarantee that it ever works out, that I ever get invited, I ever get access to tickets, that it just might not happen. And I'm cool with that. I've come to grips with that. But for me, this event, and let's face it, we are in this world where non-football in the sporting world, things have to feel really big, right? The NCAA tournament just happened. It felt big. Arizona against Michigan. Michigan against UConn. UConn against Duke. Those felt like moments, whether the games worked out or not. But going into the game, it felt really important. The World Series a couple years ago, Yankees, Dodgers. It doesn't happen very much. It felt massive. The ratings reflected it. It was big. The Kentucky Derby always feels big. And this is the pinnacle of golf. And they've had a lot of momentum. The players rated well. Scottie Scheffler over the years. They've had more interest. More people are playing golf now than ever. But this is the peak of the season. And this peak of the season, because so many casual people pay attention. I love golf. Playing golf. I'm actually playing tomorrow in Los Angeles. Pretty fired up. But I understand that a lot of people don't like golf, think it's boring, or historically have. And then slowly have got into it. And as you age, hell, LeBron James now is really into golf. And it was something 5 years ago he probably would have laughed at. Because as you age, you kind of have an appreciation for it. And most of us, it's the one sport where you can play courses that these guys play, except this one. Because even if you play golf and know a lot of people and have a lot of money, probably very, very limited chance that you will ever step foot with your golf clubs on this course. Even if you get the hookup through work, through you win the raffle, and you attend this event, most people that want to play this course will never, ever get the opportunity. And so I think there's that element of that, the Jim Nantz, Hello Friends, how pristine everything looks on television. I think they've adapted pretty well to giving us what we want as the consumer on our couch or, in the office on our computer, is we want to watch as many holes and as many players in this event starting Thursday morning through Sunday as possible. And Amazon Prime is now carrying this. Augusta doesn't need the money. They just do not care. It's a very, it's unlike anything else. I mean, it really is from the standpoint of we don't even need to sell this. I mean, CBS, I heard this a couple years ago on a podcast. When they do a deal with the NCAA tournament or with the NFL, it's usually a 10-year contract, right? We're not giving you all this money for a decade long. They do yearly deals with the Masters because the Masters just want, even though they've done business with CBS now for as long as I can remember, it's kind of keeping you on your toes. They have certain rules that you have to follow. We don't call them fans, call them the patrons, right? Which some of that stuff's kind of cheesy, but also you kind of appreciate it with Augusta. People are not allowed to bring phones in the venue. And I can't even imagine. Sometimes I was watching, it was last week, the Valero Texas Open. And Ludvig kind of hits it into the trees, which he's known to do on Sundays. And there's this group of people in a half circle behind him. And every single person has their phone open to video the shot. Most of those people, and I can be guilty of this as well. You do something like that, if you're at a concert, and you never look at it again. Why didn't I just take it in? And we don't do that as much anymore. And that's one thing that still happens at Augusta. And I just think that if this event goes well, because they're naturally the Rory storyline, Bryson and Rahm come in with a lot of momentum. Obviously, Scottie just had a second child, which I'm fascinated. I didn't know, super young children could fly. Did he have his child in, the Augusta area and fly his doctor out, which is something that's probably much more feasible when you have the means of Scottie. I'm fascinated to know the logistics. I didn't get the chance to watch his press conference yet, but maybe it takes a little bit of a load and pressure off of him, that it's out, it's healthy. He can just play this event. He's been playing bad. Maybe it takes his mind off some of his struggles. Again, all relative, but there's just nothing better than Augusta National. And to me, it's just the way it looks on television. The last couple of weeks, you just watch them, it just doesn't look great. I mean, last week, and I get they had weather, was just, I love golf. It was tough to watch. It did not pop on television. And that's why that it pains me to know that they might leave Hawaii. It's it kind of pops on television. The players really pops on television. Pebble Beach pops. Nothing pops quite like this. Some of those shots, some of those visuals, it's just the best. And I can't wait. And hopefully the Masters is a little like, pizza. Even when it's not great, it's still pizza. So even if it's not Rory versus Bryson in the final, twosome and the ebbs and flows of last year. And I watched the Amazon Prime deal on Rory, which I thought was pretty good, because I think sometimes I remember in the moment thinking, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. But then time happens, right? Life happens. You get the summer, you get football season, you have a child, you do whatever. And you kind of forget. You're just God, that was pretty crazy. You just say that because it's pretty crazy. But you might, if you're not some diehard Rory fan, Rory, the caddy, or there, you kind of forget the little details beside him chunking it into 13. Rewatching on Amazon, you're oh yeah, he doubled the first hole to go in for a tie for the lead with Bryson going into hole 2 after having a 2-shot lead to start the day. He doubled hole 1. I can't imagine. And you're this is insane. It's no different People use the analogy all the time, 28-3. I bet if you sat down and watched the second half of the Falcons and Patriots, again, if you're a diehard Patriot fan or a diehard Falcon fan, you probably have a better remembrance of some of those moments than me. Like, I just remember the Hightower sack, but I bet you think, that is, what did I just witness? That's what I felt like watching Rory McIlroy's Amazon documentary. I'm like, this is even more insane than I remember. And it felt pretty cool. It felt big. It was well timed. I think Shipnuck also came out with a book today talking about like his divorce, which I kind of appreciate. I saw someone on Twitter this morning say something like, Alan Shipnuck gives zero fucks. Just put out the book of Rory, Masters Week, when he's the defending champ, talking about like his alleged affair that everyone's, denied, and his divorce. I'm like, God, this guy's kind of respected in a weird way. Just rude. I don't even think I could do that, but I just don't think he cares. And I don't think Rory cares that much either. Again, he's probably, eating his Wagyu steak right now with a glass of Pinot and just enjoying life with a smile ear to ear, as he should, which kind of sucks because I've been thinking a lot about part of that documentary, and it's, he's talked about it for his whole career, is a lot of golfers his age, right, in their 30s, idolized Tiger Woods when they were young. He was their golf hero. No different than Kobe looking up at Michael, right? Or, some of these guys that grew up on Brett Favre idolizing him. Or now some of these guys with Tom Brady. That's who you look up to. And you finally get this moment after a decade plus, you're a Grand Slam. You've won the career Grand Slam. You've really just cemented yourself as like an all-time legend. I mean, he already was, but really this was kind of the icing on the cake. Whether he never wins a major again, which I think he will, not necessarily this week, but just over the course of the next 5 years. Hell, he might win a couple. And Tiger Woods doesn't attend. Like, that kind of sucks. There's been a lot of people like, I feel for Tiger. He's battling some issues. Yeah, we've known. We've known for 20 years. Tiger's got a lot of demons. I know a lot of people with demons. I'm not trying to act like it's not a big deal, but like Puka Nakua is down the road right now in Los Angeles in a rehab. And I'm sure there are a lot of individuals there. Just like I bet if we drove to Palm Springs, the Betty Ford Clinic, be fucking packed. He ain't alone. And if you're Rory, like it probably would have been, I bet he dreamed about the moment of like his cheers and looking and seeing Tiger Woods. And then he looks and Tiger's not there. Like, that sucks. I mean, that really sucks. So, it's the first time in 32 plus years that Tiger and Phil are not attending this event. Phil put out a statement. They've had some personal health issues, which I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it hasn't been reported what's going on, but I just think that the good part right now about the PGA Tour and these majors is for whatever, 2 decades. It was always considered, or always said, Tiger didn't move the needle. He was the needle, which is true. Golf was, I mean, a niche's niche. Like it was very limited to the amount of power it had in this country in terms of getting random people to watch a tournament, especially when I was a kid. And then he came around and he just became a fucking worldwide rock star. That even if you didn't like golf, and a lot of people did not 20 years ago, a lot of people did not 10, hell, in 2019, when Tiger was on and Tiger was playing well and Tiger was in the mix, people tuned in. I remember Barry Bonds in the peak of his steroid use. When Barry Bonds got up to bat, whether you couldn't stand him or you were like me, you loved him. You watched him hit. And a lot of people thought, like, what's going to happen when Tiger goes away? Well, Tiger kind of unofficially did go away when he got in the car crash at Riv and ruined his ankle. That unofficially ended his career. Never been the same, never will be. I consider him now like unofficially done. Never playing again. Don't expect him really to ever play in these events that matter. Like those days are gone. And for a long time, it was like, Jordan Spieth, Brooks, DJ, can they carry it? I think there's enough momentum now and Liv participated in this, just creating conversation. Obviously, Bryson and Rahm are big time. You got Rory, Scottie, and some of these other random guys on the PGA Tour who are really good. I think the Ryder Cup buzz and golf just doesn't need him as much as they once did. I ideally he'd be 50 and still be pretty decent and still playing, but that's not the world we live in. He's currently in some rehab across the pond doing who knows what. And Phil, obviously, his career kind of unofficially ended on the PGA Tour when he won at Kiowa and won the PGA Championship. Was a pretty cool moment as well. But I think both those guys, they're kind of swan songs on the course were the 19 Masters and the 21 PGA Championship. And they're never coming around again. And they're obviously not factoring in. I know Phil finished second here a couple years ago with a crazy round on Sunday, but I think golf's in a position now where they can handle those guys going away. It's a big question with the NBA. Like in 4 years, when Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James are not playing in the NBA, what do you do? Because I'll promise you this, like the Thunder are not going to carry you. They just will not. And I think probably a lot of people are nervous. And that was the case with golf with Tiger Woods. And now I think that we saw earlier this year, the players that Cam Young won, it like did 5 million people watching. You're like, okay, this is all going to be okay. And this week draws in a lot of casual people. And I think the Rory storyline, obviously Bryson and Rahm, I think is a big deal because one of those two guys, I think it wouldn't shock me if both of them are in the mix come Sunday. And obviously Scottie playing well. I mean, I think the Masters, which has had some random winners over the years, but I also think that kind of speaks to the crew of guys in the PGA Tour at the time. I'd be stunned if our leaderboard doesn't look incredible. I mean, just look at the winners over the last handful of years. Even the 20-year was DJ, a couple years of Scottie, Rory, Rahm. I mean, we have had last year, the final group is Rory and Bryson. A couple years before, it was Rahm and Brooks. I mean, you're getting the heavy hitters coming around. So I'm really fired up. And that's what I think makes this tournament so cool is unlike a lot of majors where it's 150, 152 guys, someone told me yesterday, 91 players. Well, there's a lot of, when you win the Masters, you technically can play for your entire life. And there are a lot of guys that get in, like the U.S. amateur winner, international players that win certain events. There's like 30 guys that can win this tournament. And that honestly feels extreme. But it also feels like the guy, Matt Fitzpatrick, if you just did a power ranking, or Bob MacIntyre, right? So, or Tommy Fleetwood is in this tournament as much as, say, Scottie or Rory, right? Or has equally as a chance. And over the last couple of years, like I loved Rory last year, and I loved Bryson last year. Now I parlayed them all. I didn't have them individually, but it was pretty clear like a heavy hitter was going to win. It doesn't feel like that right now. Like I'd be stunned, honestly, if Rory top 10s. I just think he's in a good mood. There's got to be an incredible feeling walking around the grounds with his green jacket. Every clip I've seen of him, he's had a massive smile. This is, it doesn't, professionally, this has to be one of the most surreal, cool weeks of his career. Might be, and I bet he might say this later on in the season. He's like, that was one of the more genuine, just excitement level weeks I've had to be around a golf course in a long, long time. And I don't expect him to win, you know? And Scottie, I think it's really hard. The kid, the play has been off. But, I think we have this group of, Matt Fitzpatrick's, Cam Young's, uh, Bob MacIntyre, Ludvig. Some of those guys this is a great opportunity. And I think that makes it really fun. Morikawa, his injury, what is that going to be like? Xander, Justin Rose was in a playoff here last year. He already won this year. He's a guy that's had a ton of success here. Adam Scott, previous winner, older guy. That's the thing about this tournament. A guy can be playing really shitty. Like I put a little money on Jordan Spieth over the Texas events, and you're watching, you're like, this is tough to watch. But then he could show up here and all of a sudden be tied for the lead on like midday Saturday. Because this is an event about course history, course knowledge, comfortable in the environment. There's a level of nerves involved in this. All these guys talk about the way the greens are so difficult. I was talking to a buddy I'm not going to give him away because he wanted to keep it under wraps, who got the opportunity to play here like a year ago. And he's, a high handicapper, like probably like a 20. But most of us, he plays a decent amount of golf. He's got a lot more into it. He said the caddy, because you go out with a caddy, points at a place when you're on the green to putt. And you're like, what? Why would I hit the ball there? He's like, trust me, you got to hit it here, tap it. It's like a 15-foot putt, and it's a crazy break. And he's like, and not in a million years, if that caddy didn't exist, I would have aimed like a ball outside, and my ball would have ran off the green. And there's clearly a level. This is why a couple years ago, Phil Mickelson finished second. This is why Justin Rose can shoot like 64 on a Sunday, because your understanding of the greens, which is a big deal. It's why Jordan Spieth, I'm just not going to count him out. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet, the official sports betting partner of the Miami Heat and Orlando Magic. We talk football on this show, but the NBA playoffs are right around the corner. And with Hard Rock Bet, every night is a shot to build the same game parlay and score a major bucket. Maybe you like a hot hand to drop 30, the big man to control the glass with a double-double, point guard to dish out 5 assists. You can set it all up on Hard Rock Bet. Gives you tons of ways to stack your picks for an epic same-game parlay. You missed the tip-off of the big game? No problem. Hard Rock Bet lets you live bet all game long from the first bucket to the end of the game. So you're never too late to find a winner or grab that player prop that you had circled. If you haven't joined Hard Rock Bet yet, now's the time. Check in the game. New signups can double their winnings on their first 10 bets. Max $50. That means if you would have won $100 on your bet, now that's $200. So don't sit on the bench. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today and get the party started. My pick to win the Masters this year is Bryson DeChambeau, which a couple years ago you would have laughed me out of the room. You're like, you're picking Bryson DeChambeau, who famously called this like a par 67 and then proceeded to shoot like 76. And everyone and their mother, rightfully so, made fun of him. I don't think Augusta was happy with those comments. He was talking about like hitting balls over trees onto other holes. It's like, Bryson, just play the fucking golf course. Especially because you, famously, a lot of people have said it's an advantage to be able to draw the ball. Well, anyone that's watched Bryson DeChambeau's YouTube channel, let alone watched him play over the course of his career, especially since he has this new kind of swing setup, he works the ball right to left, which can be an advantage. And his comfort level, because they don't allow green reading books at the Masters, over the last couple of years, he was 2 down going into Sunday, and it was tied for the lead after, I'm trying to do the math here, with 17 holes to play. And 2 years ago, he finished tied for 6th, and he did not play well in the weekend. Last year, he finished, I guess 2 years ago, he finished tied for 6th, and he shot 75-73. Like, to me, this is a guy I will be stunned if Bryson DeChambeau doesn't win the Masters. Or, over the course of his career. I'm not saying I'm going to pick him this week. Who knows? It's hard. I think over the course of the next 5-6 years, Bryson DeChambeau is going to be a Masters champ, which will be incredible. No player could win the Masters and people be more interested in what he would pick on the menu. Like, is there a chance you're getting a chocolate protein shake? Is there a chance you're just getting like a grilled piece of chicken and some brown rice? You probably do some swanky shit, but I think he wins. He's played great in live for whatever that means. But to me, whether you're playing a Muni or whether you're playing the toughest course in the world, if I'm playing one-on-one against Jon Rahm, which he did in South Africa, and I beat him in sudden death, like, that's saying something. Because a lot of people are going to pick Jon Rahm this week, who also, I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the mix as well. If there was a bet where you could take Rahm and Bryson, one of the two guys, to be in one of the final 3 groups on Sunday, that would be an auto hammer to me. I'm taking Bryson of the 2, and you can get him right now, Hard Rock Bet 9-1. I just think if you can hammer him top 5, top 10, I'd just be stunned if he's not in the mix. I really would. I think he's confident coming in. I think the last couple years has give him the capability to go, okay, I can play here. Okay, I'm comfortable in this environment. I got Rory a couple years ago at Pinehurst. He got me last year at the Masters. The other thing, and I was thinking this, like a basketball coach, a football coach, Rory on the dock said that after hole 9, when Rory birdies, Bryson misses, and Rory has a 4-shot lead over him, he said, walking to hole 10, I looked at Bryson and I thought he's out of the tournament, which turned out to be true. But if I'm Bryson, I would use that as motivation. And yeah, I don't know what else to say beside he's my pick. Some other guys I like a lot this week is, by all accounts, this tournament, the weather has been fantastic. It has not rained much. And currently it is rock hard, which it could play very difficult in terms of obviously the putting around the green, chipping around the green could be diabolical. If you miss approach shots, you are down, right? You are rolling off the green, different angles. It can be very difficult chipping and approach play. Like, to avoid crazy hard chips, approach play is key. Say what you want about Ludvig. He definitely imploded at the Players. Hard for me to say that at last week when he had a lead and then it started a torrential downpour and crazy winds and he played like shit. There is not a guy that I'm more confident. Like, of all the players in the field, I won't count Scottie because historically he's like a top 10 master. There is no one I like more to top 10 than Ludvig at plus 180. Just, you can't take him to, I know he's going to be kind of a sexy, trendy pick to win. It's hard for me to pick him to win when he just doesn't win very often. And when he is leading these tournaments or tied for the lead, something weird happens. But one thing he does, and this is what he shares in common with Scottie, is his floor is extremely high. So to me, plus 180 to top 10, I don't like it. I love it. And there's a reason, they say, and what does Ludvig do? He can, work a fade, work a cut. But to me, when I think Ludvig, I think a drawer of the golf ball. High ball flight, drawer of the golf ball. Bryson DeChambeau fits this place. Well, why do lefties have success? Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson, Mike Weir have success here. Because those guys, their ball flight, not a draw. They can play a cut. Whether it's on hole 2, whether it's on hole 10, whether it's, if you get behind like the Rory shot last year on hole 15, they can cut the ball at the bunker on hole 18, right? And where sometimes it's a harder shot for the right-hander that if he plays the cut there, he's in the trees and he's fucked, which we've seen happen sometimes. Bob MacIntyre has really turned into a high-level golfer. I mean, you watch him, I kind of appreciate the body type. To me, you get him top 10 plus 230. So I'm taking Bryson to win 9-1. I'm taking Ludvig and MacIntyre to top 10 plus 180 and plus 250, excuse me. Now, I am going to take a couple flyers. If you've watched him play this year, he's all over the map. And anytime you look up, and I did this the other day at Valero, he was between two trees. I think I saw something online where someone's like, no one's more likely, if you see someone in the trees, if you're at a golf tournament and go, I wonder who that is, for it to be Jordan Spieth. He can be all over the map. But that's the thing with Augusta. This isn't the Players. This isn't Oakmont. You can spray it around a little bit. And course knowledge and just kind of understanding the moment and being comfortable in the environment matters a lot. Now, am I confident Jordan Spieth? Like, would I put a lot of nuggies on it? No. But when you can get Spieth at 50-1, to me, there was enough there to be like, I'd like a little magic. And I'm biased. Like, I just want to root for the guy. Now, something I'm a little more confident in, I know he just had a bad week. But if you tell me this place is rock hard and it's playing hard, and this is a tournament between 20 to 30 guys, like, I've seen this song and dance before. There's a guy named Brooks Koepka that broke it down years ago that why he's successful in majors. He's like, you can cut out half the field immediately. Then the next half, they're just going to be overwhelmed by emotions. And then the next half of the next group, who even if they are mentally dialed in and can handle everything, their game's not going to be really playing well. So then you're at such a small percentage of people who's actually playing well and who can handle the pressure that they don't really know how to navigate mistakes. Now, Brooks has not putted well this year, but tee to green, he's been excellent. And if you tell me that this course is like ball striking is going to be put at a premium because the greens are going to be rock hard, and this isn't the DJ Fall Masters where it's soft and balls are, stopping on the green. I'm going to take Brooks at 50-1. And I looked, Hard Rock Bet has him 50-1. Like I like having a little juice on a guy that's comfortable in the bright lights. Now, if you don't want to bet him to outright win, to me, top 10, top 5, like I can see scenarios where Koepka is just in the mix in this event. Now, my one flyer, I know a lot of people have brought up Justin Rose. I'm going to go with another former champion who's in his 40s just because I like the odds at 75-1, and that's Adam Scott. One thing I did is I actually have a parlay with Adam Scott to win and Ludvig to top 10 last week, which he did. But Adam Scott's a guy that I threw a couple nuggies on at 75-1 to just hope kept lightning in a bottle. I think there are a lot of people are on Cam Young. Personally, for me, Cam Young I'm going to place a very aggressive wager at the PGA Championship in a month at Aronimink. I think Cam Young wins at Aronimink. He wins the PGA Championship or he wins the Open. I don't necessarily see him winning this tournament. Could be wrong, and I'm a Cam Young stan. I'm rooting for the guy. Xander is a guy that I think is flying under the radar a little bit. I think Morikawa would have been a sexy pick if he hadn't fucked up his back at the Players. I think obviously Fleetwood's a guy that can kind of turn on, but he's been off. He's got this, he's always wearing different clothing, a little weird because he can't get a clothing deal. Heard some details on that. Kind of weird that business they're in that way, but he probably made a lot of money on Nike in his prime. So to recap, Bryson, my flyers are Brooks and Spieth, and just in terms of a little longer odds, and my big time flyer is Adam Scott. My two top 10 bets are Ludvig and Bob MacIntyre. I think what makes this event so cool is you just turn it on, you just feel good. And there's something about how pristine the grass, the vibes look. When it goes viral, that you get a sandwich for $2 or $3. When you can get a beer for $3, it's like that stuff doesn't exist anymore. I got a small coffee. Now I get it. I'm in Beverly Hills at this hotel. You go downstairs, like, I just need a cold brew for the afternoon. I need a little juice. And they're like, that'll be $10. I'm like, Jesus Christ. You go to the airport, you're like, I'm so thirsty. And then you get a water, it's like $12. You're like, this is egregious. What am I gonna do? Fucking go to the bathroom and drink sink water? Like, they got you by the balls. The Masters could rake people over the coals. I see it with the Players Championship. Those things it went viral this year, how expensive everything is. And to me, that's always something that you share on group text. Like, God, I want a pimento cheese sandwich. Or do you know what the key is? You go with the barbecue chicken and you mix it with the pimento cheese and it melts in your mouth. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So I'm excited. I really am. And I can't wait for this thing to get going. Let me answer a couple quick golf questions from the @GoLow pod. This is from, so you just Instagram me. I will answer your questions here on the pod. This is from Jared. I've heard you mention that golf has really taken off in the last 5 years. Made me think of all these golf simulator businesses that seem to be popping up everywhere. I went to one recently that served good cocktails and it was fun. Have you ever been and did you enjoy it? They seem to be popular enough, although do you see those being a fad and eventually suffering the same fate as Topgolf? I think they are. I went to one probably in the last 6 months in Scottsdale. Same thing. It was really fun. We had some drinks. We got some appetizers. The girls could come. There were a bunch of dudes there, could bring their girlfriends or their wives. A couple babies were there. It was just an easy hang. But I enjoy it more in Topgolf. Hot take, I don't really like Topgolf. Never really did. Like, if I'm hitting outside, I just would rather be on a driving range. Now, I get the first time I ever went to Topgolf, I went in Vegas, which Vegas's Topgolf has the big screens in the back with the games on. It's pretty cool. It's right there on the strip. But like, if you told me, "Hey, you want to meet me at Topgolf?" My first reaction is probably, "Nah, not really." Or if you go, "Hey, I got this cool place, got sweet simulators, they got a bar. You want to come have a beer and hit some shots?" I'd probably be interested. Do I think it's a little fatty? Probably. Do I think the simulator now, I don't know about the costs, because like Topgolf, you got overhead costs. It's expensive. The time I went, the one in Scottsdale was pretty empty. So, I don't know what you need to make your money and just to break even. It's not a cheap endeavor. So, the simulators by themselves are not inexpensive. My guess would be, are they everywhere in 5 years? Probably not, but I don't think they hurt currently. I'd probably bet against them big picture, but I could be wrong. Technology has just exploded in all of our lives. I do think it's pretty cool to just be able to go to a simulator and it's like, you want to play Pebble Beach? You want to play Augusta? You want to play St. Andrews? You want to play, you name it. You can play the course. That aspect of it to me is pretty cool. I do enjoy that. So maybe I'll be a little more. Maybe I won't totally bet against it. Would love to hear your thoughts on Tiger's wreck and DUI. Kind of ironic, on your last podcast on Go Low, you said Tiger is back. I think I talked about this a little bit on a football mailbag. It was hard for me to watch, and I didn't really. I saw the clip of him talking to Trump, which I was with a buddy last night, and I saw this reported that most people think that Tiger called Donald to try to get out of the DUI. And it was reported like at that time, Donald was in Air Force One, and you can't get a direct line there. So he called Tiger. And a lot of people, in the golf world, Trump a couple weeks ago said Tiger was not playing in the Masters. And it was almost like Donald had called him like, "Hey, I didn't mean," because then Tiger had claimed that he was trying to play. It was almost like Donald just happened to call Tiger at that time, is what a buddy of mine thought. It was more likely than Tiger called him to get out of the DUI, because he would just call his lawyer, and then that guy, they got direct lines to Donald. Like, what's he going to do? Get him out of the DUI right there? Which maybe he did, but it was just, he didn't feel that. Again, I could only watch like 5 minutes. I didn't really watch much of him hiccuping in the back. When he was doing the different things, he looked pretty normal to me. He clearly pops a lot of pills. That's been pretty well established. He literally had them on him. I've said forever, if you like doing something a lot, like I really enjoy talking for a living. It's one of the only things in life I'm decent at, right? Most things I can't do. I can't do DIY projects at home. I can't do a lot of things. So the things that you can do, and if you get good at them, if you professionally, if they become lucrative, you almost like triple down, and it becomes a defining aspect of your life, whether you like it or not. Golf has defined this guy's life since he was 2 years old. He became one of the most famous athletes of his generation, any sport, worldwide, because he could swing a golf club. And he's a golf nerd. Like, he's a golf nerd. He can talk golf. He can, like, he just, the golf world is in his soul. Well, the only way that he can play at this point in time with, I don't know, 50 surgeries, there's like 25 that we know about. There has to be countless more that we don't. He has, essentially a fake ankle. He has a fused back. He has a fucked up knee, tore his Achilles last year. He'll never, if you and I were in the same scenario with those injuries, our golf career would be done. We would not be, at most, maybe we'd get on an elliptical and the sauna would feel good. Well, look at Tiger. What does he like to do? He likes to lift. He likes to work out. So he likes golf and working out. Those are like his two things that he does. He has unlimited money now, and I just think it's if you tell me that the rehab or whatever works and he no longer can take the powerful pills, I'll tell you he's never swinging a golf club again. He's never playing on the Champions Tour. He's more likely to be in a wheelchair in 10 years than he is fucking thriving on the golf course. And clearly he has abused him and had issues with him. But I just think if the pill thing goes through, like Tiger Woods in a golf club, it's sayonara. It's over. That's all she wrote. So I just think that a huge part of that pill addiction that he has is because of what he does. Right now, I obviously it has addictive qualities, and people that don't play golf or lift weights have been addicted to these. It's ruined countless people's lives. But I think it's directly correlated to what he loves to do, and that's pumping iron and fucking playing golf, which you can't have that many surgeries and lift clearly the amount that he does and play golf, which is not a normal movement on a body that is like duct taped together with just a couple Tylenol and Advil. So I think it's just a sad story. He's led a chaotic life. I think when it's all said and done, the story of his life is going to be closer to like Elvis or Michael Jackson or something just outrageous that it is just Tom Brady, you know? So it's just, it made me sad, but it also is what it is. I mean, yeah. They say basketball is a game of runs. I think golf is a career of runs. Do you think Scottie is ending a generational run and will slowly regress? Spieth had one of the best years the game has ever seen in 2015 and has not come close to that since. It's a great line. If you look historically at the non-all-time great players, they have a stretch of a year or two where they pounce. And Mark O'Meara, right, won the Masters, won the British Open. Been looking at joining this club around where I live, and Tom Lehman is redoing it. The year he won a major, he also like top two'd in another major and had like a 2-year career where he really peaked. Now, guys like Rory or Dustin Johnson or Koepka can make Bryson Rahm. The all-time great players have long careers. I would put Scottie under that. Jordan kind of took advantage of his 2015-17 window and since has kind of been average. Justin Thomas kind of took advantage of 2 or 3 years, 3 or 4 years, a little longer, right? But if you're an all-time great player, Tiger won in 97, won again in 2019. Phil won PGA event in the 90s, won a major in 2021, right? So those guys can go through lulls. Golf can be, to me, like baseball as a hitter, where you can just have, a hitter can just have an awful month. Like an all-time Hall of Famer can have a month where he bats like 180. Golf can be like that. You can just have a couple years where you're just in the mud. Rory had some weird years between like 2014 and 2000, the last couple years, right? And then you figure some out and then you flip it back in. To me, Scottie is much closer to a Tiger, a Phil, a Rory, or at least what I would imagine his career being, than just like, Scottie had the craziest 3-year run. Now, this might be the best 3 years of his career, but I would imagine 5 years, Scottie is still a major factor, or in 10 years. He might go through some crazy lulls. The great players do. Tiger did. Phil did. But I would expect, like, is he going to win 20 majors? No. But is Scottie more likely to win 8 than never win another one? I would say yes. Could be wrong. Golf's really hard. The competition's never been harder. Like you said, you can go cold for a while, and then you start overthinking it, you start overcompensating. But I don't know. I think Scottie is somewhat of a master of his craft. And the other thing is he's been winning for a long period of time. I think when you watch him play, he's, like Spieth, for example, can be very inaccurate off the tee. It's like to me, Scottie, even when he's a little off, like he was off at the Players and he's still got top 25, So even when he's off, it's still not crazy off. It's not like, oh, this guy's fucked. What is going on here? Which he's going to have one of those events where it's just like he misses a cut. It's inevitable. But to me, he's under much more control. Now, we'll see. Maybe this week is terrible, but I would bet he's more likely to have a long, illustrious career than like a short lived 4-year window. Even if that 4-year window is the best golf he ever played, right? Tiger won Torrey Pines in '08, but the best year of his career was 2000, right? Started playing well again 4 or 5 years later and then played great in 2018 and 19. So when you're an all-time great, which I do believe Scottie is, you can kind of figure it out even through the lulls. Enjoy the Masters. I will see you guys later.